students kind of, this is a golden opportunity for you to understand what Australia has to offer and the universities have to offer for the kind of program that you're looking at. Uh, Quickly, kind of, I'll just give you a broad landscape view of what it takes to study in Australia. So that would be the core of the next 5-7 slides that I'm going to present and breeze through them. In case you want to kind of uh, look at some of those in later on, take a picture of it so that you can review them post this webinar as well. So let's dive in. So Australia, there are 6 states, 2 main territories, the Northern Territory and the Australian Capital Territory. These are 2 separate territories, while there are 6 states in Australia. It is the 14th largest economy, 1.7 trillion. Interestingly, 70% of the GDP is driven by services. Services meaning financial services, services meaning education, services meaning retail, healthcare. So services is what drives the economy in Australia. International education is the largest service export from Australia, close to USD $30 billion. So it's a very evolved and a very large sector within Australia from a what do you say, from an international education standpoint. Um, Major cities, most of them, because all of them have got the best of the cricket stadiums in Australia. So we would have kind of seen matches in each one of these cities on TV or elsewhere. Population, 27 million population, roughly close to the population of Delhi NCR. The broader Delhi NCR region is what the population would be. 31% migrants. So if 1 out of 3 in Australia is an immigrant. So again, Australia is a land of immigrants, and it kind of encourages and it kind of takes those immigrants with both hands in and kind of a way to for the immigrants to kind of be integrated in the socio-economic fabric of Australia. Uh, and again, the population growth is modest at 1.7%, but largely driven by the immigration. So that's what is driving even the GDP in terms of services. That's also driving the population growth in Australia. So that's one thing that we should take away from this slide in terms of immigrants make a large portion of the population in Australia, and there are opportunities for immigrants to work and kind of live and work in Australia. Moving to this slide, this is I would say crux of why choose Australia, and uh, some of the best top-ranked universities globally are in Australia. In fact, we have 2 of them as part of this webinar: Australian National University and University of Sydney. Innovation again is something very core, and La Trobe is known as an innovative university. So there's a huge kind of a array of universities, very good and kind of quality focused universities in Australia. Um, Again, programs in engineering across a wide variety of domains: engineering, business, health, agriculture, hospitality, you name it, you will find good programs and universities offering those programs in Australia. Living costs and tuition fees, if I compare the living costs and tuition fees to US and UK, then obviously Australia is far more affordable. And along with that, it also offers opportunity to work in while studying 24 hours per week, which is one of the most liberal kind of forced kind of during your study kind of a part-time work opportunity in both on campus and off campus. US allows only on campus work. So Australia is that way is liberal. It allows off campus work as well. Again, you may have heard of co-ops, which in Australia is called work integrated learning, WIL. So this is internships from an India context standpoint that are integrated in a lot of programs in Australia. Post studies, what's important is as a student, I'm not just looking to study in a country, I'm also looking to be absorbed in the global workforce and to have that experience of working in that country. That's what Australia offers. Post study work from 2 to 4 years, depending upon the program that you are in, that you can do. Important to note, a word or term that I've used is TRICOS, which is essentially a registry of all approved programs and courses for overseas students, which enables you to apply for post-study work visa. So it's important as you select your program in Australia, make sure that it is TRICOS registered, so that otherwise you may have a problem later on if you're applying for a post-study work visa. From post-study work visa to skilled migration to PR, as we call it, permanent residency. That's again a path. So from studies to post-study work visa to PR. So that's the path, and very well laid out in Australia. As a result, you would have seen 1/3 of the entire population is immigrants in Australia. And why? Because of this beautiful kind of a continuum that Australia has created from studies to PR. And again, important to note here is skilled occupation list. So these are priority occupations where Australia needs a skilled workforce. And in case you happen to choose your program in some of these skilled occupation lists, then your transition from studies to post-study work visa to PR becomes even more smoother. And that's something that you need to keep in mind while even choosing a program and and kind of university to study in Australia. So that's important, but I'm just placing that upfront for all of you to think through that way. Very multicultural. As I said, 31% of residents in Australia are born overseas. Close to 1 million Indians living in Australia, amongst the largest. So it's a very large community of Indians who are living and working in Australia. And that also includes close to 100,000 Indian students who are kind of part of the communities and the higher education kind of a cohort in Australia. So these are some of the very important elements that you must consider while looking at Australia and a program of university in Australia for your studies. I'm just focusing on higher education. It is similar to India. A bachelor's is 3 to 4 years. If it is research oriented, it's a 4 year. Otherwise, it's a 3 year. Professional programs would be 4 to 6 years. Masters will be 1.5 to 2 years. So almost the way we see those programs in India, I would say it's identical in Australia. Admission criteria. Now, this is something which is important because Australia is in the southern hemisphere. So there's a slight change in the way you look at fall in the northern hemisphere, in countries in the northern hemisphere versus southern hemisphere. So in Australia, what is August in northern hemisphere? It is Feb in Australia. So Feb is the largest intake, which is the fall intake as we call it in Australia. And again, for that, the application generally closed by November, maximum by December mid. So that's when everything gets closed. So you need to plan that in advance. And similarly, the July, which is the spring intake, which in the northern hemisphere happens to be in the winter intake, or in January, it's happened from July to November. So it's a minor intake. The major intake happens to be the Feb intake. So that's one key difference, and that's what I've kind of circled for you to have a clarity on for Australia versus countries in the northern hemisphere. Eligibility criteria, more or less standard, but again, these are very generic. For any program, you must refer to the university website to get a complete idea and understanding of the admission criteria for the program that you are looking at, be it a bachelor's program or a master's program. So it's important that you refer to the university website. Some important elements that I must share. One is that in Australia is one of the few countries where English language test is not just required as per the admission criteria of a university, but it is also required for student visa. So it is enshrined in your student visa that you need to submit your English language scores, TOEFL, and that's one difference between countries like US or for that matter, Canada. The second difference is only a test center score is valid in Australia. TOEFL, as I said, so there is a student visa for which the TOEFL score is 64 and above. But again, from an admission to a university, the scores may be different. And that's where you need to refer back to the university website for details. GRE is not per se required across all master programs, but there are specific research, postgrad, or doctoral programs that require GRE. Again, refer to the university website. And these are again, so TOEFL, GRE again are more global tests. They and kind of help you kind of look at universities across countries, not just a specific country. So that's what you need to keep in mind. Again, TOEFL is at less than 2 hours, one sitting. As I mentioned, please keep in mind in Australia, only a test center score is valid. It is the cheapest among the three most conventional tests, and then the validity is 2 years. Important to note is TOEFL is also approved in Australia for work visa. So that's another, I would say, added advantage of taking TOEFL, because it is also approved for your post-study work visa and for your immigration, for your PR. So that gives you a runway to kind of apply for those visas later on in your journey. This is important, and I've again circled this point. Um, it is TOEFL is completed 60 years of its existence last year in 24. It is the oldest test amongst all English language tests, and we did a survey earlier this year to kind of just check about the outcomes, not just from a program standpoint, but also in terms of visa. And 85% of TOEFL test takers from India who submitted their scores confirmed to us that they received a student visa. So it's again a validation that it not just helps you get to the program of your choice, university of your choice, but also in enabling you to secure your student visa, because that is becoming very critical these days as the rejection rates have increased by all countries. Um, there's a lot of resources that we have for TOEFL, and you can kind of take benefit of a lot of the free material and free resources that we have on TOEFL Test Ready to prepare well for your TOEFL. Coming to something that again you want to understand better, what does it take to study in Australia? And this slide summarizes. So in general, I would say that between 50 to 80K would be an annual budget that you would be spending in Australia. And this is all in Aussie dollars. So you have to kind of multiply it by 66% to get to US dollars. So that's the conversion, thumb rule conversion that you need to take. But yes, the tuition fees, and this is a range. It depends upon the program, university, the city where you're living, because all these three factors play in terms of the cost that you would be incurring for the kind of program that you've chosen in Australia. Again, this is again important because this helps you cover your cost of living while in Australia. So on an average, you can earn up to 2,000 Aussie dollars in a month in Australia, working off campus or on campus. And that's important because that gives you support to cover your living expenses in Australia. And that's important. As I said, Australia allows you to work on campus as well as off campus. It allows you to work 48 hours in a fortnight, 24 hours in a week. And then in breaks, in your summer breaks, the time could be unlimited. So that again is a flexibility that Australia offers to international students to cover for their living expenses. Student visa. This is something which is becoming a critical issue these days. And I just want to talk about, summarize. There have been lot of changes. And before starting this webinar, we were all internally discussing between Amit, Himanshu, Dhanya, and all of us. There are a lot of changes that have happened in Australia, and it sometimes becomes difficult to keep a track of everything. So as recent as July, this month itself, the visa fees for Australia has been hiked to $2,000. And again, I'll share with you why now it's important to prepare well. What is it that can give you a success in student visa? So those are the things that you need to keep in mind. But yes, 2,000 Aussie dollars is now the fees for student visa in Australia. Similarly, last year, the cost of living proof has been increased to around 30,000 Aussie dollars, which is what I was referring to in my previous slide. 25 to $30,000 is something that you need to keep in mind as a cost of living on an annual basis in Australia. There is no such provision to change your institution once you are an international student in Australia. So all those policies, procedures have been changed. So in case you take an admission in a certain program in a university and you land in Australia, you want to change the university program, it will be a completely new start, a fresh start. It cannot be done onshore while you are in Australia. English language test requirements have been raised to ensure that there are good outcomes for students who are coming to Australia for study. Now, the TOEFL score for visa is now 64 and above. And the graduate visa, the post-study work visa, which I was talking about, now the age for it has been reduced to 35, and the maximum stay is 4 years. Now you can stay for up to 4 years, depending upon the kind of program that you are into. Now, a bachelor's degree may give you 2 years, master's degree 3 years, and a doctoral program 4 years. So it depends upon the kind of program, but that's the kind of time that you can spend in Australia on a post-study work visa. Moving on, again, Australia started with a genuine temporary entrant test. Now that has been changed to a genuine student test. Again, what is the intent? The intent here is uh, serious intended international students are welcome in Australia. Somebody who has decided to study in a good program, in a good university, and kind of thinks that that could be a defining moment in his or her career to really kind of then look for post-study work opportunities. So that's the intent. They are just trying to sense that as an international student, you have that genuine interest to study in Australia, and you're not disguising it under immigration. So that's the key intent of this genuine student test, and I'll talk more about it in the subsequent slides. Another important element is emphasis on improved institutions. That's what I was referring to earlier in the presentation, prior class. Uh, Students must ensure that the institution is listed on CRICOS and has a good standing in the immigration authorities. That also helps you secure your student visa and also then your post-study work visa. So CRICOS is very, very important for you to look at while deciding your program in university. And then Australia also has this risk rating, level 1, level 2, level 3, which also gives you a priority in terms of your student visa processing. So if you are applying to a level 1 university, the process will be like a breeze. Uh, and it's like a much faster, smoother process. And the three universities that are coming on this webinar, they're all the level 1 universities. So the moment you have an admit from any of these universities, it's like almost a certainty that you will not face any challenges while applying for a student visa. And hence it's important for you to decide and research the risk level of the universities, because that has an impact on the outcomes of your student visa. Visa trends have improved from 23 to 24. This is some data from Department of Home. So they have certainly improved. So they dropped in 23. They have improved and these are India student visa trends in terms of approval rates. But still, it is trending towards improvement in 25. So that's all I can say. It's important, hence, to kind of evaluate and prepare well for the student visa, including the tests that you are taking, including the admit program, university, etc. So that the chances of or the approval rate is much higher. Um, uh, we've talked about English language requirements, and uh, my submission and recommendation to all of you: don't go for low-ranked universities, colleges, or vocational programs, because the rejection rates are much higher. And given the cost of Australian student visa, it could be a complete kind of a waste of time, effort, and money in that regard. Um, I will not go into the details of what a genuine student requirements are, but as I said, the intent is to identify whether you are genuinely interested and serious student to come to Australia to study there, and that's what the genuine student statement asks for in terms of the questions. So the only thing that I would say is be truthful, be forthcoming, be well reasoned, and should be able to support the evidence. Don't create a fictional story for any of the questions, because that again will have an impact on the outcomes of your student. Uh, and these are some of the strategies that you can look at in terms of getting the best outcomes from your student visa. Uh, as I said, TRICOS providers, your GS submissions, financial transparency, strong English score, English language test score, um, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's important, how you kind of create your application process, and how truthful you are in your submissions to the authorities to get the best outcomes from the student visa. Jobs and salaries, and again, it was heartening to hear from all the three universities that jobs are in abundance, and there are job market is pretty hot in Australia in terms of, especially with regards to AI, technology, healthcare, etc. But this is a skilled occupation list, students. And the reason why this is important is you have to look at them and go backward. This is the priority occupations which Australia is inviting skilled workforce in. So if you are studying in any of these high priority occupation list, and then it becomes easier for you to get a post-study work visa, get a job during that time, and then apply for PR. So I think that's how you need to look at that. What are the various national and regional priorities from an occupation standpoint that I need to study, that helps me kind of in my journey in post-study work as well as in PR. Um, this is something that has not been talked about, but and not completely relevant for you, but I'm just sharing this also. This is a very interesting kind of a visa pathway that Australia India has created, which is called MATES. This is a 2-year work visa. It's a separate class. This is not a student then moving into a post-study work. This is a student from India who has studied in any of these specified fields from a top NIRF 100 ranked institution in India. There are 3,000 such spots or kind of lots which are available for you in case you want to apply for a 2-year work visa through this MATE scheme. So that's essentially what it is. And again, you need to be less than 30 years in age, etc., etc. So you can find the details on Google and on website. But this is another thing that you may want to just think of, not per se from a study abroad, but also from just a work in Australia, if you happen to have studied in India in some of these areas and domains. So that's all I had. Hope I was able to kind of give you some insights into how you need to look at Australia as a study abroad destination, and what are the things that you need to keep in mind while identifying uh, programs, universities, regions based upon your interest. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Sachin. I would now request Himanshu Kohli from the University of Sydney to please share information about University of Sydney with us.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Just want to confirm if everybody can see my screen.
Yes.
All right. So, talking about University of Sydney, University of Sydney is Australia's first university. They were founded in 1850 and are actually modeled on Oxford and Cambridge universities. So, the infrastructure of our university, the oldest one looks like on the left hand side, it looks like an Oxford, and the right hand side, it looks like Cambridge. We call it a quadrangle. That's one of the most iconic buildings of University of Sydney. We are ranked 25 out of over more than 22,000 universities worldwide as per the 2026 QS World University Rankings. QS is one of the major, organization that ranks university on the basis of on different aspects. It has also ranked close to 28 of our subjects in the top 50 globally. University of Sydney offers more than 300 scholarships to the students, which I'll definitely talk about in the previous in the later slides of mine. The best and the brightest minds live here. We have had an opportunity of teaching 8 prime ministers until now, including the current prime minister, who also happens to be the alumni of University of Sydney. In addition to that, we have 2 Nobel laureates, 3 astronauts, 110 Rhodes scholars, and more than 145 Olympians. You will join a community with over 145 nationalities of students if you're studying at University of Sydney. We have had more than 70,000 students, including 25,000 international students. So that's how big the university is. We have more than 8,500 staff and have a 380,000 plus global alumni at University of Sydney. Now, moving on, our campus is very much centrally located. We have Camperdown and Darlington campus, which covers all the major faculties at University of Sydney. Now, moving ahead, we are the first university in Australia as per the US News Best Global Universities 2025-2026. As I mentioned, we're the top 25 in world university rankings. We offer more than 400 subject areas for the students to design the right degree for them in terms of majors and minors, and more than 300 plus international partners are what we are combined with for the students to study and travel. To have a glimpse of top 20 or top 50 subjects that we have, all the major subjects that we can think about in terms of from the Indian perspective, accounting and finance ranks 29, English language literature ranks 26, psychology is 39. So law and legal studies ranks 18 across the globe. So even if we talk about the different subjects that we offer, majority of those which are most commonly asked from India ranks among the top 50 across the globe. Now, if you talk about our faculties, we have divided it amongst the 9 different faculties at University of Sydney, which are Arts and Social Sciences, Architecture, Design and Planning, Business, Education and Social Work, Music, Science, Medicine and Health, Engineering and IT, and Law. So the only thing that we do not offer at University of Sydney is something related to fashion or hospitality. Apart from that, you name it and we would be able to offer it to you. Now, what Sydney experience talks about, we've got unparalleled choice with more than 400 areas of studies. We give students an opportunity to tailor their degrees as per their own interests. We've got all these specialist combined double degrees or professional degrees at both undergrad and postgrad level. We give an opportunity to the students to gain global perspective with over 300 international partners. All the courses that we offer comes with professional accreditations and also brings in an hands-on industry and internship experience for the students while they're studying with us. As a part of teaching, we also have a lot of outside the classroom opportunities available. For example, the moot court is the facility is available for the students studying law. Westmead Hospital for the students studying health and nursing. Then One Tree Island Field Station is one of the largest field station in association with Great Barrier Reef for the students studying marine sciences. The Conservatorium for the music students, Tauranga Institute for students studying in wet sciences, etc. Now, if you talk about our international partners, we offer more than 400 programs in 40 plus countries. The aim here is to offer at least 50% of our international students to undertake an international experience as a part of their studies. We offer semester exchanges, we offer year exchange. 130 university partners rank among the top 200 in the world. So it's not only about getting any option in terms of a semester and a year exchange, but getting into the universities which are fairly ranked among the top universities across the globe. Ours is Australia's largest mobility program when it comes down to the year exchanges and semester exchanges. Life at Sydney, we've got more than 200 clubs and societies that the students can be a part of. I, as a student, can be a part of any society that I've got interest in, whether it is subject related or fun. Apart from that, we also give you an opportunity, like for example, if I find something missing in terms of my interests, I can form my own club and society as well and invite students to be a part of that. We have got a Sydney Uni Sport and Fitness Society available, which keeps on organizing a lot of sports activities across the year. We've got more than 25 cultural groups. Like, for example, we have got an Indian society by the name Ekansh, which takes care of a lot of festivals across the year, and the celebration of those festivals on the campus itself. We've got University of Sydney Union, which takes care of the well-being of the international students and the different events and societies that we organize, including Welcome Week and the job fairs that we organize on campus. The student support services that we have includes the Welcome Week in terms of making students comfortable on campus, followed by career support, which offers a lot of opportunities like part-time job opportunities to be able to, for the students, and then creating their LinkedIn profiles, making them aware about the different job opportunities available, internships, on-campus job opportunities and off-campus job opportunities. So whatever career-related support is required to the students, our student support services does provide it to the students. Now, moving towards health and well-being, we've got a lot of psychological assistance available on campus apart from the medical help, which takes care of the the mental well-being of the students also. Faith and cultural support, as we said, I mentioned in the earlier slide that we've got more than 145 nationalities of students studying with us. So talking about how multicultural the university is, we've got different faith and cultural support societies available for the students. And financial assistance, that's something which is available for the students on a need basis. For example, during COVID, all the international students were supported by 500 Australian dollars as a support for their living, being considering there were no job part-time job opportunities available due to the lockdown and all. Now, I'll just quickly share a few insights about the different faculties that we have. Business, we are the one of the universities that has a Triple Crown accreditation. That's the highest accreditation to be given to any of the business schools. We rank top 50 in management, number 2 in Australia in terms of the business school. We also offer SEMS membership to the students. That's a management degree for the students that offer that is being given. SEMS is a kind of an alliance global network that only allows 40 universities across the globe to offer this program. Only one university in one country offers that. So we are the only one in Australia to be offering this program. IIT Kolkata, sorry, IIM Bangalore and NUS Singapore, Cornell USA are the kind of universities that actually offer these kind of programs. Apart from that, we have got an industrial placement program. That's a global internship opportunity available for the students. Apart from that, our program consists of a lot of cross-disciplinary team projects, and the courses are co-designed with industry. We're known to keep on taking a lot of feedback from the industry in order to keep on altering our courses as per the demand in the market. So therefore, whatever we offer is actually a best fit in terms of the industry and once the student graduates from the university. Engineering and IT, we're ranked among the top university in Australia for engineering and technology. We have got the largest biomedical engineering program in the whole Southern Hemisphere. We have a Jacaranda Flame Consulting program. That's an award-winning program again, which offers students internship opportunities during their studies and the different projects to work on. We give the students an opportunity to connect and collaborate with a network of more than 1,200 engineering, technology, and government organizations. So that's how vast the network of University of Sydney is in terms of opportunities that we offer to the students. Architecture, design, and planning, as the name suggests, it is a combination of 3 schools, the School of Architecture, Design, and Planning. We ranked 4th in Australia and 30th in the world in terms of architecture built environment. We have a lot of industry placements incorporated within the course. The courses that we offer are professionally accredited, and we have the best equipped fabrication laboratories in Australia and a hub for experimentation and design. So, and I can personally vouch for definitely for the laboratories, because I've seen them all in person, and I can say how well organized and how modern infrastructure that we offer to the students in terms of architecture. Law, we are ranked 18th in the world for law. Our students have an opportunity to participate in the law in the range of law mooting competitions. We have an opportunity of the students that we give them, wherein they can study in exchange with our global partners, including Harvard, Stanford, Cambridge, etc. universities. Our public interest law clinic and our law and social justice clinic also allow you to apply your classroom law, knowledge to the real world issues. We're the first university of Australia actually to have started giving opportunities to females in terms of job in the field of law, in the field of law. So that's how renowned the university is when you talk about the law school. Moving on to the admissions, in terms of academic requirements, we for undergrad we accept class 12th. We accept CBSE, ISEs, IB boards, A levels. In addition to that, the students can also appear for SAT or ACT or APs in case their academic conditions are not met, and we do accept those as the entry requirements also. For postgraduate degrees, we look at the academic marks in their bachelor's. We follow the NOSER guide. So the entry requirements for postgrad are very simple. From a section 1 or a section 2 university, we look at a 65% or a 7.0 CGPA. And from a section 3 university, as per the NOSER guide, we follow 75% or 8.0 and above a CGPA. For the business programs, in case the academic conditions are not met, we also accept GMAT. We do not accept GRE at all. So for the engineering degrees, the student needs to meet our entry requirements on the basis of their academic conditions only. For the English proficiency, we accept IELTS, TOEFL, and PTE. All the tests have a 2 years of validity, and we do not accept home editions at all. And there are few courses like architecture, design, architecture, medicine, music and visual arts, which might have an additional requirement of portfolios or auditions or entrance examination, depending upon course to course. We do have an opportunity to the students wherein students can either apply directly online. They can apply before their class 12th examinations are declared, on the basis of which we give them a conditional offer letter, and then they can submit their final mark sheets to us and can convert that offer to the unconditional. Or the students can also apply with the final transcripts and graduation certificate to directly get an unconditional offer letter. Our general turnaround time in terms of applications is 2 to 3 weeks. Talking about scholarships and funding, we have a Vice Chancellor's International Scholarship. This scholarship is an automatic scholarship, which is purely based upon the academics of the students. So the higher the score, the better are the chances for the students to get scholarship. It ranges between 10,000 to 40,000. Then we've got a Sydney Scholars India Scholarship Program. As the name suggests, it is only for the Indian passport holders. It is for the high scholars, and it also goes up to 100% scholarship being offered to the undergrad students. Apart from that, again, the range of scholarship is between 10 to 40,000 Australian dollars for undergrad and postgrad both. Apart from this, we have several faculty scholarships, sports scholarships, and housing scholarships also available for the students. The below link gives you all the details about the different scholarships that we have to offer. Apart from the scholarships, we also have a Sydney International Student Award. This was actually established for outstanding international students from key markets in international students per se. So here we offer 20% contribution on the overall tuition cost, whatever the course duration would be at both an undergrad and a postgrad level. And the only way to do is by writing down a personal statement, which needs to be submitted along with the application. The the exciting thing is that this award can be combined with any one scholarship. So in case I, as a student, had applied for the award, and I've also applied for, let's say, Sydney Scholars India scholarship, then, and I've been awarded both, I can combine both of them together. So that actually adds up to and gives students more options and ease down in terms of the pressure that comes along with the fees to be paid for their studies. Working in Australia, which has already been covered in the previous presentation. So the students are allowed to work 48 hours for a fortnight, and during university vacations, there are unlimited hours per week. That's all. There are my contact details on screen in case any of the student wants to get in touch with us directly. Over to you, Lakshmi.
Thank you so much, Himanshu. I will now request Dhanya from. Oh, just give a minute. I'll now request Dhanya Bhatia from the Australian National University to please share information about ANU with all of us.
Just a second. Okay, good evening, everyone. Thanks for your patience, and we are really excited to be here today. As Lakshmi mentioned, my name is Dhanya, and I'm from Australian National University. I'm very glad to be presenting here with my two industry colleagues, Himanshu and Amit. So moving on to ANU, just a second. I think there's something that has come up, but yeah, it's just right. Just a second. Just a second, I'll just stop sharing and then reshare again. Just give me 1 minute.
No
So
problem.
I'll talk about ANU today and what are the eligibility criteria, the entry requirement, accommodation, all of that. So yes, so this is what I'm going to cover today. So we are an inspiring community of 21,000 students from 100 countries. We are ranked 4th in Australia and 32nd in the world. We have 6 Nobel laureates as part of our staff and alumni. 95% of research are rated above world standard. We are number 1 in 13 disciplines in Australia, and we are also one of the most employed graduates in Australia. We have 5 stars for student staff ratio and staff qualification. So when we say student staff ratio, it's 1 to 10. So the class size is very small. So the advantage for you is that, when you are in a smaller class size, you get to interact with the faculty and your peers in a better way. We are only Australian University to be part of, IARU, which is the International Alliance of Research Universities. So there are this alliance consists of 11 top ranked universities. Okay, so I'm sure when you see Canberra, I'm not sure how many of you know, but we are the capital city of Australia. So when we interact with students, some of them do mention that it's Sydney and Melbourne, but that is not the truth. Canberra is the capital city of Australia, and we are based in Canberra. We are ranked number 1 for, Canberra is ranked number 1 for quality of life in the world, and it's a short distance from Sydney. So it's 3 hours drive from Sydney and 8 hours to Melbourne. So in case if you want to go and enjoy some time in Sydney or Melbourne, you can do. Sydney will be more accessible as compared to Melbourne, but yes, they are accessible. But overall, Canberra also has a very interesting lifestyle. It's small and quiet. So you don't have to spend much time commuting from one place to another. So that is another advantage. You can spend more time. It's a very well-balanced life that you can spend in Canberra. It is also the highest, the average salary is highest as compared to other states, Canberra, the highest average salary across Australian states. Now, moving on to some of the facilities that ANU has, and we are very proud to talk about these facilities. ANU is home to Gaudi, the fastest supercomputer in Southern Hemisphere. It is ranked 24th in the world. Australian researchers can access Gaudi 24/7 from anywhere in the world. Robotics and drones, ANU conduct fundamental research for unmanned vehicle technologies, particularly aerial robots. We also have Big Dish. The ANU Generation 2 Big Dish Solar Concentrator is the world's largest paravolatile dish solar concentrator. We have Makerspace, which is an area accessible to all staff and students to experiment, investigate, prototype, and solve problems. So the space can also be used for education, research, and personal hobbies as well. It has 3D printer, laser printers, etc. NanoLab, it has the potential to enable more efficient use of our natural limited resources. So these are a few of the facilities that I quickly wanted to highlight among many that we have. These are some of the organizations where students are placed. Of course, if you are, you can only work in government organization once you have a PR. But other than that, there are various organizations where students are working after they graduate and also during the part-time, internship they do. You get an opportunity to work with this organization. Himanshu did mention about clubs. So we also have clubs at ANU. So we have around 150 clubs, and as Himanshu mentioned earlier, if we don't have any clubs that is of your interest, you can start a club of your own as well. So that flexibility is here, here as well. So 50/50 is a student-led organization which promotes gender equality in STEM. Rocketry is a student-led initiative again, and thus provides any students with hands-on experience in large-scale engineering project in the aerospace industry. We have RoboGirls, which is again student run organization that aims to inspire and empower young women to consider studying engineering related fields. So besides that, we have ANUSA, which is the leading student association at AIM. Now we have 6 faculty known as colleges at ANU, which offers various popular programs. So we have College of Business and Economics, which offers marketing, international management, entrepreneurship and innovation, accounting, finance, economics, and project management. We have more programs, but these are a few of them which are more popular as compared to others. So just to give you an example, we do not offer MBA to international students, but we have the specialized program. So if you are looking for an MBA program, you can also consider doing any of these, such as marketing, international management, entrepreneurship and innovation, project management. College of Systems and Society, this has our engineering and computing faculties here. So we offer computing at the bachelor's and master's level, and it's very popular, and we offer Masters of Applied Data Analytics. College of Science and Medicine has a lot of programs. So we have highlighted few, like the popular one being astrophysics and astronomy. We are one of the universities offering astronomy and astrophysics at in Australia. We also offer Doctor of Medicine and Surgery. So if somebody is interested for MBBS program, they will have to do Bachelor of Health Science leading to Doctor of Medicine and Surgery. Law is another popular program. We do offer Bachelor of Law. The entry requirement is pretty high. So if you are a CBSE student wanting to go for Bachelor of Law, we are looking at 95%. So it's pretty high, but rest of the programs, I'll talk to you about that in a later slide. Students going for law also go for flexible double degree. So that makes it, around 5 years, and they take up sometimes, combine it with business or any other course that is of their interest. Juris Doctor is popular at the master's level, and coming to College of Asia and Pacific, we are very popular in terms of international relation program and public policy, which is offered by Crawford School of Management. So it is very popular. And under College of Arts and Social Sciences, we have programs such as, just a second, I can't see the slide. So yeah, visual arts, design, music, criminology. So if you're interested in that, you can always go for that. Now, coming to English language requirement, we do accept IELTS, TOEFL, and PT. So I have highlighted the TOEFL score that we are looking at. It is 80 overall, 20 in reading and writing, and 80 in speaking and listening. IELTS is 6.5 overall with a minimum of 6 in all bands, and PT is 64 overall with 55 in each communicative skills. Now, coming to undergraduate entry requirement from India, we are looking at a minimum of 85%. So for all our programs, the minimum cutoff is 85. So if you have 85% and above, you can apply for the courses. We do accept CBSE, ISC, and 5 state boards besides ISC and CBSE from India, and we do accept A-level and IB diploma as well. So as I mentioned, it is 85% from these boards, and if it is A-level, we are looking at 13. If it is best of 3 subjects, 14 if we are looking at best of 4 subjects, and IB diploma on an average is 30 for most of the courses. Sorry, I missed mentioning about PG entry requirement. PG again is around 65 to 85%, depending on what section of university the students are from. So we also follow NUSA, and based on the section of university, the score will go up a bit. Now, submitting application process, we have our authorized education agents through whom you can apply to ANU. Offers are released on a rolling basis, and average turnaround time is around 2 weeks. Outcomes will be sent directly to the agent. So, and you don't have to apply separately for scholarships. Scholarships are automatically assessed. Now, once you get an offer, the next step is acceptance. So the deadline for acceptance is 2 months from the offer date. You need to pay 20,000 Australian dollar via Convera to accept the offer, and we have mentioned the email ID where you have to send it. All of this will be helped, or provided to you by an agent when you submit the application. So that will all be sorted, and you can get in touch for more information at a later stage. Some of the key dates that we have 2 intakes. One is in the month of February and the one is in July. So for this year, we have closed the application. Now, the application that we are receiving or accepting are for semester 1 2026 February and semester 2 July 2026. So now the application deadlines are mentioned here. So for application for semester 1, application deadline is 15th December and final acceptance deadline is 15th January. We have Crawford School of Public Policy, which I mentioned is very popular. So they have an earlier deadline that is 31st of October for semester 1 2026. And if you are applying for Bachelor of Health Science, the deadline will be 30th of November 2025. So that again has an earlier intake. So this is supposed to be semester 2 2026 will have similar deadline. For example, the application deadline will be 15th of May for July. It's mentioned 25, sorry, there's a typo here. And final acceptance deadline for semester 2 July 2026 will be 30th June. Scholarship, we have over 200 scholarship which you can apply for, but for few of them you'll have to apply, but the most popular scholarship remains to be Chancellor's International Scholarship, which provides 25% tuition fee waiver discount. This is purely based on academic score and it is very highly competitive. So to get this scholarship, you need to have very high score. We also have few scholarships that are specific to certain courses as well. We have 18 residences on campus and ANU guarantees you a room in a student residence on campus. Either you are an undergraduate or a postgraduate student. We have catered, self-catered and flexi-catered options. These are all within walkable distance to class and library facilities. The average range, weekly range would be around AUD 2,088 to 556 across all different residences, depending on whether you are taking a self-catered, catered or a flexi-catered option. So depending on that, the range would vary. These are few of the email IDs where you can contact us, and that's all. So I think after the session, we'll take up questions. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dhanya. I will now request Amit to please take over and please share us about La Trobe University.
Well, thank you, Lakshmi. Could you just confirm if you could see my screen now?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, good evening, everyone. Well, thank you very much for connecting in and thank you for your patience and listening to us. I'm pretty sure that this must be quite an enlightening session for you where you get to hear from Sachin, Himanshu and Dhanya about Australia, the opportunities in Australia, about the universities. So I'm pretty sure that this will help you to make your decision about higher education. What I'll do is I'll talk about my university for which I work, which is La Trobe University. But what I can tell you before I do that is that Australia is a great place for higher education. It's a very safe country, great environment, great opportunities, a country which has got a lot of opportunities. We call it as the country of migrants. If you really ask and look at the history of Australia, you don't see really who can claim it to be their country as they've been from there. a lot of people from different countries migrated. There is definitely a community called the Aboriginals who were there, but then the Britishers came in, and slowly, gradually, there have been phases of migration. And at the moment, when you talk about it, the South Asians are dominating, and particularly Indian are in a large number. It's a big diaspora living there for a reason that they feel very comfortable. They feel very happy about the environment, the life, the culture. They feel belonged to it. And like I said, it's a country of migrants, so they feel welcomed over there. What is interesting is that when we talk about a lot of people have chosen to go to Australia, move to Australia, migrate to Australia, many of them actually moved down through the path of education. So they went to Australia for education, they love the country, they find the opportunities, and hence decided to stay on. And now they've been contributing. And we see a lot of positive word of mouth coming in where they recommend their families, their friends to come down and study as well as think of living in Australia as well. And it's very evident also if you see that the two countries share at the moment a very strong relationship. The relationship hasn't been ever that strong. The two prime ministers call each other as dost, the friends. In fact, our prime minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, when he went to Sydney and addressed the community there, including the Indian community, Indian diaspora, the Australian Prime Minister called him the boss. He said, "You're just fabulous in terms of the way things do, but we strongly believe in the relationship that the two countries have, and we want to make sure that we strengthen it in the future as well." So it's country for you. You're something that you have to think of. Now, come to La Trobe University very quickly. Like I said, I'm from La Trobe University. My name is Amit Malhotra, and I'm the Senior Regional Director. I've been associated with Australian education for now about 25 years, and with La Trobe for about 16 years. And trust me that I still feel like, it's so fascinating that I can spend another, maybe, I don't know how long my life is, but maybe 100 more years, or even longer. But I really enjoy, to be honest, being here. Now, about La Trobe University, we are about 55 years old as an institution. And we in fact are proud to have students from over 100 different countries who have come down to study at La Trobe University. Overall, the student strength is about 38,000, but if you talk about the international students, we've got about 9,000 plus international students, and we see a lot of diversity. One of the key points about Australia and about La Trobe is that when you come to a campus, which is a very international campus, you really get to learn from each other. You learn about the other communities. In a classroom where you get students from other citizens, their nationalities, you learn other cultures, which make you a global citizen. And hence what happens is that even if you decide to stay in Australia or move to another country or come back to India, it's so easy for you to adjust in your workplace. And also when you're given assignments to, work and engage with other countries, you learn, about how to do it. So you're quite smart then to sort of, be successful in your work assignments. And that's what, you pick up the most. But what is interesting also is that the Australian education is well controlled by a law called the ETS, where each and every qualification has to be absolutely on the top of the world standards before that can be offered to international students. So all the education providers, La Trobe University, everyone makes sure that they're imparting the best of the qualification and experience to the students. And you heard from Himanshu and Dhanya about the type of initiatives that all of us take, making sure that we're giving you the best academic experience. We're getting you involved into clubs. They both mentioned about the clubs that they have at the campus. So do with La Trobe. We've got over 60 clubs on the campus. There's a lot of emphasis been put on the student experience, making sure that when they're coming down to Australia to the university campus, they're given a full support to settle down in the country, in the campus. A lot of events are organized, like the barbecue sessions, the cherry picking sessions. They're taken around the city so that they get acquainted to the city, they get familiar with it, they understand how the system works. Like, to be honest, the first time you go there, you don't even know how to use the public transport. So we really make sure that you adjust well, accommodation, helping you to find the right accommodation, helping you to get the insurance cards, understand even the work culture, study culture. You heard about the work opportunities available to students while they're studying and post. So we make sure that you're adjusting to that one. But what is most interesting is that generally when the Indian students come down to Australia, they think that the study culture might be the same. Enjoy 9 months, work for the last 3 months, and you pass your exams. Trust me, that doesn't happen in Australia. If you really want to be successful, you have to really put time from the day one. You have to do your assignments. There are regular assignments. You have to attend your lecture. There are marks for it. But more importantly, you cannot copy the work of your friend or from the internet and say that's your work. That's the biggest crime in Australia. Plagiarism, not allowed completely. So you have to put your efforts, but there's enough time in the day for you to put time for your studies, to do your part-time work, spend time with your friends, learn the culture, and engage with other communities. So it really gives you that sort of opportunity, but you have to really, fit into the culture. You have to understand that, and you can be really successful. It's the track record says that Indians have been one of the most successful community internationally, but also in Australia as well. Now, coming to La Trobe University, we put a lot of emphasis on employability. We've got a great award-winning student support system called the Career Ready Advantage. From the day one, where what we do it is we start training you on how to network, how to improve your soft skills like communication skills and networking skills. We start engaging you with the industry. So each and every program of ours has got the work embedded into the program. So what you do it is, as a part of the program, you'll see that the employers coming and teaching you a certain part of the program. You going to the workplaces and doing internships. You're doing some projects. And also we bring in employers to tell you about what is the demand in the market. What type of employees are they looking for in the future so that you can make the right choice of the subjects in your programs, considering that you've got ample of options of what specialization you can go for. For that reason, also, what we have done it is that every single program of ours has got the industry on the committee, and we review our programs regularly, making sure that if there are any changes required or any updates required or any additional units to be included, they are done on a regular basis. The purpose of the university is not to impart just education. It's about education, giving you the knowledge, but more importantly, making sure that you're employable globally. So we want to give you all that skills. Now, La Trobe is ranked amongst the top 1% universities of the world. And you heard again from Dhanya and Himanshu about the strong recognition globally of Australian qualification. That talks about the standard, that talks about the type of education we're delivering. We do put a lot of efforts on research. In fact, the 23 of our research areas have been identified as way above the world standards. But the reason I'm telling you, even if you're looking for undergrad and postgrad, is because when the universities do research, they bring that knowledge to the classroom, and you can really learn from those people who are doing the research, and you get to know about the work that's happening in the world, number one. Number two, you have the option that in every program, you can either choose to go to industry, but also you can look at doing some minor or major thesis. So you are given that opportunity to do that. Plus also, like what we have done at La Trobe is that we've really invested on creating precincts, places where we're actually giving out space to the industry to come and do their research and build up the setup on the campus. So when they're doing research with our academics, that creates a platform and opportunity for students to actually engage with the industry and do some work as a part of their degree also. And that's one of the reasons that La Trobe has been ranked as the #1 university in entire Victoria when it comes down to the student placement, employment outcomes, and also for the employer satisfaction with the graduates when they hire La Trobe graduates. Like any other university, we offer a whole range of courses. We have got about 250 courses. You name it and we have it, whether you talk about business, engineering, IT, health, humanities, engineering, data sciences. We've got everything. We've got, the humanities. So there's a whole vast range of courses for students to pick up. Also, these students have the option where they can go for multidisciplinary programs. Like within the program, they can go in picking up subjects from other disciplines as the minors or the specialization. So we really help you to customize your degrees in case you want to do it. And also students can opt for multiple specialization within the degree. So you have a lot of flexibility in terms of tailoring down the degree the way you want to do it. Like I said, what we are really keen on is to make sure that the student gets a qualification that they want to achieve. We want to make sure that they study what their passion is. It's because a degree is of no value if you don't have the passion to do something. Always remember that degree that you do, it relates to your future, something that you will end up doing for the next 50 years. So you have to make sure that you pick up the right program and be giving you the right type of knowledge to be successful at the workplace. I will just put down few courses. I won't go too deep into it, but these are some of the very popular programs among the Indian students. We see a lot of demand for MBA, business analytics, accounting, marketing, business information systems. You heard from Sachin about the cybersecurity, AI, data sciences, nursing, very high in demand. There's a major shortage of health practitioners in Australia. So we see a lot of people coming to do health-related programs. In fact, nurses and allied health is very popular. People want to come down for physiotherapy, speech pathology, many other programs, dentistry. So we see a large interest for such programs. And they are the programs which have got, there's a massive shortage of professionals in those space. Civil engineering, manufacturing, construction management, telecommunication, and electronics. There's a huge shortage of academics teachers. If you want to become a primary level teacher or a secondary level teacher, great opportunity for you. You want to work in psychology, rehabilitation, great opportunities. And what La Trobe has done it is that we made sure that all our programs have got the required industry accreditation and the professional accreditation so that it doesn't just restrict you to work in Australia, but it gives you the opportunity of working anywhere in the world. And many of our, the work placements that I spoke about as a part of the degree, which are internships and work integrated learning, are paid. Some of them are unpaid. But generally, the students who are high performers who are doing well, they get jobs or the work integrated learning opportunity or internships in their desired organization. And these internships are for them generally paid. So make sure that you're taking the right program where your passion lies. Make sure you're putting the right efforts. Make sure that you are successful. And then the further success in your life is very easy for you to achieve. Going further, we've got, again, a lot of partnerships, very successful partnerships. If in particularly I talk about India, we work with some of the very top highly ranked institutions here. In fact, we've formed joint academies where we're doing a lot of work in specific areas with them. As one of the examples is the ASRIN. ASRIN stands for the Asian Smart City Research Institution Network, where IIT Kanpur, BITS Pilani, Tata Institute of Social Science, and La Trobe has come together, and we're doing joint research in the space of the smart cities. And we've got about 100 students who are doing research, co-supervised by La Trobe and one of the institution partner. And these students get the opportunity to do part of their studies or their research in India, but for the other part, they come down to La Trobe. And once they've done the 4 years of research, they're awarded with a joint PhD. Similarly, we have actually signed up with JSS University, which is in Mysore, one of the top ranked for health, and so on. So we've got a lot of such initiatives. We work with LSR, college, which is the top ranked women college in India, and the top ranked in Delhi University for sure. And we do a lot of exchange programs with them where our students come down to India to spend some time at LSR and vice versa, where the LSR students are coming to us. So we formed a lot of such mobility programs, joint initiatives to create opportunities. Other than the institutions, we have created a lot of partnership with the industry, where our students get to come down to India and work with the industry, and also it goes in the other direction. But that's not only India. India, I'm just telling you because I'm talking about India. But our students do go down to across, different parts of the world to actually do some short programs with the industry also. We create immersion programs for them to go out for a few weeks to learn the culture, to do some lectures at the partner institutions, and also spend some time with the industry also. Within Australia as well, to make sure that you're home away from home, we actually have got a strong partnership with Indian Film Festival. I don't know if you've heard of it or not, but we actually have, because of that partnership with Indian Film Festival, scholarships announced over the last few years. It's called Amitabh Bachchan Scholarship. We've done Shah Rukh Khan Scholarship. We've done Kapil Dev Scholarship. So we've got the leaders of India to come down, as I said, with La Trobe, work with La Trobe, mentoring our students. But we also created opportunities of awarding 100% scholarship to our students to do their study, which will cover their entire tuition fee. Some of these scholarships also cover the living expenses. But, you know, other than that, I'll come to scholarships a bit later to talk about more. But talking about research, we do have a wide range of scholarship areas. At the moment, we've got, the multiple, it's more than 2,000 research areas on which, the university is focusing, and we have actually some groundbreaking research outcomes. I can't cover everything because I've been given only 15 minutes, but anyone who's interested in research, you can actually come down to our website and you can actually connect with the researchers to explore your opportunities of working in the lab and work under the supervision. I did already spoke to you about the employability, that we've been extremely successful when it comes down to our graduate outcomes. If I talk statistically, 86.8% of undergrads actually got job within the 4 months of graduating, whereas our postgraduate record is even higher, where 95.5% of our graduates got a job within the first 4 months of graduating. So it talks about the La Trobe quality and the efforts that we are putting in this direction. Going further, we offer a lot more scholarships than what I did mention before. We've got scholarships which are worth 50%, 100%. There are Vice Chancellor scholarships. There are AI-specific scholarships, the artificial intelligence, which are primarily meant for courses which have got the AI component in it. We've got analytics scholarships. I've categorically mentioned the dates for our November intake because we do actually start our programs 3 times in a year. So our programs start in February, our programs start in July. But if you missed out in July, you still have the opportunity of starting this year instead of waiting till the next year. So a lot of our courses start in November, and the scholarship programs continue to be offered in November as well. We do have also 15 and 20% scholarship, 25%, 15 to 25% scholarships. That's worth the tuition fee of that percentage. And there is no cap on the number of scholarships. So any deserving student who wants to apply for these scholarships can apply. Now, I've not put the percentage here for requirement because it varies from program to program. But what we do it is to make your sort of make you aware. When you apply for admission to La Trobe, we make sure that your offer letter, your admission letter does talk about this scholarship from worth 15 to 25%, but that still keeps the window or opportunity open for you, where you can apply for higher value scholarship, which can go up to 100%. We also have got some additional scholarship for the students who could apply early. If you're planning things well in advance, at least about 3 months before the start of your program, you do have an extra 5% scholarship, increasing the value of the scholarship. But that's not, cannot be combined with the 50 and 100%. Those can only be combined with scholarship worth 15, 20, and 25%. So there are ample of scholarships. I'm not putting a number because, like I said, there's no cap on 15 to 25% scholarship, but definitely the Vice Chancellor and the AI and analytics scholarships do have a number, but still they're quite large because they're open globally. So all the deserving students have a good opportunity to apply for those. I'll stop here, but very happy to take any questions. If you've got any questions, anything in particular that you would like to ask about La Trobe, very happy to answer that.
Thank you so much, Amit. Students, now we are open for the question and answer round. If you have questions, I will request you to please put your questions in the Q&A section, or you can just raise hand to ask questions directly. Meanwhile, I'll take few questions from the Q&A section. I will start with the questions related to English language test first, and then I'll come to the university specific questions. So, Sachin, I have a question for you, which is regarding the okay. So, student has asked that does Australian university take home edition, because some universities are only accepting the test center based test.
Yeah, so in Australia, you have to take the test center because it is just not the university admission. For the student visa, the only test which is accepted is a test center.
Okay. I'll move on to next question from Devika. Devika has asked that is it correct that taking TOEFL can increase the visa acceptance chances?
At least the data suggests so. But you need to prepare well, not just for TOEFL, but also for your visa application.
Okay. Okay. Next question is regarding is TOEFL also required for the pathway programs?
Depends, not for everyone. So the specific pathway program that you're looking at may require you to take TOEFL. But as I said, student visa, if you're traveling to Australia, then for a student visa, you would require to, or any other English language.
Okay. Okay. There's another interesting question from student who was asked that I think the student is applying for Doctor for Medicine program, and she said that some universities prefer IELTS over TOEFL. Can you please clarify on this?
At least my understanding is, like all the three universities also said, they accept TOEFL, IELTS, PT. It's not a preference for one over the other. So that's how I look at it. It's up to you which test you want to take. And universities clearly mention all the accepted English language tests.
Okay.
And probably Amit, Himanshu, Dhanya, do you from a preference standpoint talk about one test over the other? At least I have not heard that.
No, Sachin. All the tests hold equal importance for us, all three of us.
Okay. Great. Okay, I'll now move on to some questions for the university. So, so the student who has asked that how Australia as a region is better than UK, because the top priority for that student is both Australia and UK. So
maybe I can answer. I won't comment about UK, but I can definitely tell you that Australia, like I indicated before, is a fabulous destination for students to come and study. Like I said, that all the universities are of high standard. They are controlled and monitored by the Australian law, where they have to make sure that they are teaching and imparting the best of the qualification. The employment outcomes have been very strong. Australia does offer students the opportunity of post-study work rights, which can go up to 5 years for them. And also, if you look at it, that Australia definitely has the fastest growing the Indian diaspora. So the options are brighter for you, very strong for you. It's a great country, very safe. You love sports. There are great facilities for sports. Australia is known for its sports. So what do you want in your education? What do you want in your experience? That's all offered at the Australian institutions. And like I said, the standards are very high. They're well ranked, highly ranked. So you can't, I think, expect for anything more than what is offered at in Australia. But if in case you want to particularly ask something in specific, that would you get something in particular, we are very happy to address that as well.
okay.
Let me just add to what Amit said. So even if you compare the cost of living and the tuition fees in Australia versus UK, so there is a I would say Australia is affordable compared to UK. So that's something that you need to keep in mind. Also, as you are evaluating UK versus Australia.
Okay. I'll move on to next question. I think this question is for Himanshu. So the student has asked that I'm hoping to go down the CFA line, and I researched and found out that University of Sydney is CFA affiliated. How does that can help me in getting admission? and work?
So, the course that we're talking about here is a Masters of Professional Accounting and Business Performance. That course gives you an ACCA and CFA accreditation. It's just that there are a few extra units of studies that the student needs to complete while completing this course. And yeah, we accept the commerce and accounting background of the students for this course. So that's something that the student opt in for.
Okay. Okay, next question is regarding the state boards. The student has asked that while you accept all, CBSE and IB, do you also accept the state boards? Because the student is from the UP board with 4 years of bachelor's and 6 years of work experience.
If it's for University of Sydney, considering that student has already done his bachelor's, then the admission for the master's degree would be based upon what bachelor's and how much academic score that the student has. But while we are at it, if the students come from the state boards, there are certain 6 state boards only that the University of Sydney actually accepts. So we accept Mumbai, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh. And apart from that, there are no other state boards that we accept at University of Sydney.
I think I
Amit?
have the same thing as Himanshu mentioned. For us, if the student has completed from UP board but has completed a bachelor's degree in India and is planning to go for masters, then the assessment will be based on the bachelor's degree, not on the UP board degree. But if he's planning to go for bachelor's degree, like if he has only completed, she has only completed UP board, and after work experience is planning to go for bachelor's, then we will not accept, most likely, yes.
It's a bit different for us. So we do consider state boards as well. The only thing is that the requirement from state board versus the national board is different. So again, it depends on what course are they looking for, and then we can assess it and make decision if this one can be considered. But as the answer that is the state board accepted by La Trobe, the answer is yes.
Okay. Okay. I'll move on to next question. This question has been asked that a student is already in the CBSE board final and have the predicted grades. And if they, okay, I'll just rephrase it. So the CBSE board percentage ends up being slightly lower than the predicted scores, and I've already applied and received. Will it affect my conditional offer? Could it be revoked, or is there some flexibility in such cases?
If you're talking about University of Sydney, we do not accept the predicted grades for CBSE or ISC boards. So whatever the actuals that the students have scored, the offer would be based upon that. And in case the student meets our end requirements, we'd be happy to extend an unconditional offer letter.
For ANU, the condition we will give conditional offer, but the thing is that if the score is less than what has been given, so conditional offer is not based on predicted grades. So we don't accept predicted grade from CBSE and state boards again. So conditional offer is just based on the 11th mark and 10th marks, just as a conditional offer. So if the score, of course, is lesser than what is the requirement, then they will not, the student will not get a unconditional. It will be revoked.
It's not compared with the predicted scores, like what everybody's saying is that it's actually based on the actual scores. So the admission is confirmed based on that. Sometimes students do provide us predicted scores from the school. That's fine. Will be added, but that doesn't have the final value. So at the end of the day, what you score in your boards is what is considered while giving you the admission.
Okay. Okay. Moving on to the next question. This question is regarding Master of Public Health program. So the student is asking that what is the scope for this program in Australia?
Okay, I can maybe answer. So we do see a lot of interest for public health, and particularly for from students who have done either a degree in health or they've done something in medicine. So if they are looking at working for the health organizations, but not clinical, the work, then it's a great pathway for them. Now, if just as to give you a bit of an understanding, the public health stands for something that is a problem, an issue for a larger community. So there are multiple such issues that keep coming. COVID is a fabulous example where there was a need to create awareness about how could you avoid COVID, and if COVID happens, then how can you safeguard yourself? What are the precautions to be taken? So a lot of work was done around it. So that's something that organizations like that would need public health professionals. They hire them, and what we do it is we educate people and give them skills of working for such organizations. Now, Australia does have a lot of organizations working on it, and it's one of them, but there are multiple of them, whether it's about the domestic violence, whether it's about AIDS, whether it's about Australia doesn't have much poverty issues, but if you want to work in supporting the developing countries, and there are organizations in Australia supporting the other developing countries, you have the opportunity of working for such organizations. So there are multiple of them. So yes, the options are quite strong, quite bright. If you want to do that degree, you can definitely go for public health.
Okay. I'll move on to next question from Noshin. Noshin has asked that, can you please help me with the timeline from application to offer and further to visa? So what is the timeline between student getting submitting an application, receiving an offer, and then applying for the visa?
Looking at the visa time frame, looking at the process, maybe I can say for three of us that it should be about 6 months at least before the start date. You don't want to rush. That's the most important thing, that you don't want that you get a visa a day before and the next day you have to depart. So generally it's advisable start admission process 6 months in advance, but there is no restriction that you have to wait till the 6 months before the course started. If you want to do a bit earlier than that, you're more than welcome to do it.
Okay. Okay. So this question is from a parent who is asking for her daughter that how is the campus life, safety, security on campus and off campus? Plus, what are the arrangements for accommodation for bachelor students?
I might get Himanshu the option to say first and then I can add more.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Amit. See, overall, from the Australia's perspective, it's a very safe country to stay in. We've experienced it, and all three of us individually would have definitely experienced it, during our careers. So what we do as a university's system is we visit the university, stay there for 2 weeks, in a stretch. Sometimes we stay in the student accommodation itself to experience what how it is to be a student at University of Sydney. So it gives us an hands-on experience of staying on campus and giving that first-hand feedback to the students. And what I personally have felt, and it's not only for University of Sydney but all the other universities in the same vicinity, so I'll talk about New South Wales on altogether, that it's a very safe place to stay at. All the universities do have a lot of options of on-campus accommodation available, and a majority of the universities also have an approved off-campus accommodations, which means that they might not be university owned, but are very well thoroughly, background checked and verified by the university. And so therefore we call them the off-campus university approved accommodations. So plenty of options are there. Apart from that, universities sometimes also have a private university provider having their own, accommodation options on campus and within the campus vicinity, like for example Scape University Living. So these have their own campuses and accommodation options available on and around the campus for the students, which makes it a little easier and better for the students while they're traveling to a different country altogether.
I just want to share a kind of an example. So at ANU we have an app wherein if student thinks that, like, sometimes students study late at night in library and all, and if the student is scared of going from the library to the accommodation, they can switch a button, and the security guard will come and they will accompany them to the accommodation and drop them. So that also happens. So what I'm trying to say is that each university has set a lot of things in place to ensure that the students feel safe in Australia. And overall, Australia as a country is also very safe.
I think they both have covered almost everything, but like what been shared is, like, the point one is about accommodation. You definitely have got a whole variety of accommodation available. If the student wants to stay on campus, even on campus, there are multiple different type of accommodations with different type of facilities. So the students can opt for it. That's number one. But each university does have different arrangements with the private accommodation around the campus and in the city, the whole city. So we can help the student in organizing accommodation around the campus, which is what we call it as the off-campus accommodation, making sure that the students are not cheated by the landlord. Though it doesn't happen, but what we do it is we do play a role, making sure that we are educating and guiding students before they finalize their accommodation, if they want our support. Also, what we do it is many times the few students want to stay together. They want to go for a combined or the joint accommodation where 4 of them would take an apartment, stay together with their own the private rooms and bathrooms, but the lobby areas are common. So we do help to bring students together where they can choose their mates and they can stay together. Now, in terms of security, both of them did mention, my colleagues, which I totally agree, that Australia is very safe. It's very, very safe, but it's still very important for the students to make sure that they look after their safety. There's always, certain areas where you have to be careful, like anywhere in the world. So we make sure that we educate students well about it. In fact, we generally say that it's not good to be out for very, very late in the evenings. Like you can't be out at 1 a.m. and think that you're safe. So your safety is something your priority. But yes, when you're on the campus, generally the public transport are well monitored. The safety is everywhere, but then still make sure that you're looking after your safety well. Now, on the campus, what we do it is there is 24/7 security. If a student is sitting for late, needs a help to go down to the accommodation, there are people to help them out. So do call for it and they will be provided full security. And you would have heard that Australia has got a very, very low crime rate, which actually does talk about the safety aspect as well.
Okay. I have another important question that is regarding backlogs. So I have received few questions from students that how do you treat the backlogs for if the students have backlogs in their bachelor's?
So I'll go first. We accept the number of backlogs that we accept is maximum 4, not more than that.
For University of Sydney, for business courses, not more than 2, and for the engineering courses, it can go up to 4, but not more than that. Even if there are 4 backlogs, the score should be a little higher than our minimum requirements, because we recalculate the scores minus the backlog. So we treat those subjects as 0, and then we will recalculate the overall score for the students. So that way, if let's for example, I have got 4 backlogs and now my score is being recalculated, my 4 subjects would be treated as 0. So definitely, if I have a little higher than score than 7.0, I stand more chances to get into University of Sydney.
Yeah, very similar that we are careful about their performance in their home country. So the backlog means that they haven't done well, except that they've got a reason for why they had higher backlogs. When I say higher doesn't mean 20, 25, and we're talking about 8 to 10 backlogs. We really want to understand that why the backlogs are higher, and then special consideration can be given. But otherwise, backlogs can create problem for them. But again, the backlog also vary. There's certain programs for which we don't accept any backlogs at all. We are concerned about the backlogs in the final year in particular, because that's your very, very important year of your degree. So there are different calculations. When a student submits the application, that's when we see whether they meet the university requirements. Do they have the too many backlogs? Can we consider or can't we consider? And hence we take the decision accordingly.
Okay. I will take one final question because I think we're already ahead of our time now. There's one question which is regarding the gap years. So I could see there are a few questions regarding gap years. If there's a gap from their high school to bachelor's, how do you consider this? And there are a few questions from bachelor's to master's if there are gaps and people are working or maybe handling business. So how does the universities consider these gap?
Maybe I can go first. For gaps, primarily for La Trobe, it means that period when you've done nothing. So if you're working, it's not called a gap. So gap is when you're sitting at home, you got nothing, you got no activity in which you've been involved. That's where we say it's a concern, and a gap of over 6 months is looked at very carefully. But if you've been working, let's say you've been working for the last 5 years, that's fine. You could come down and then continue with your next level of education. So it's very simple. And even, for example, if a student has been preparing for entrance exams and they've got the evidence to support it, we would consider. So gap is when you're doing nothing. That's how we define it.
Yeah, I guess it's the same with all the universities across Australia. Until and unless you're able to justify the gap that you have had in your previous studies and the current studies that you're opting for, good enough. But in case you haven't been doing anything, we do not accept beyond 6 months of that. If you haven't been doing anything for 6 months and more, then we'll definitely be concerned about the whole profile that the student is applying with.
Yeah, so in some cases, we have seen that students might be applying for, JEE or NEET and all of that, and then they don't get through. So if they have all the evidence, maybe then we might consider, there needs to have sufficient evidence for that to show that what they have been doing, as everyone else said. So if they have been doing nothing, then it's a cause of worry. Otherwise, I think if they can justify the reason, then it's still okay.
Okay. Sachin, I have a question for you before I wrap up. I think I missed that question. There are a lot of questions here. So this question is regarding the speaking section. So the student is asking if you can just, help them understand that how is the speaking section been invigilated? How do you, actually verify the speaking section?
Good question. So TOEFL is the only test that uses both AI and human score. So we have a human rater as well for the TOEFL test. So it is not just AI rated or AI scored like some of the other tests are, to take care of the mother tongue influence, regional biases, etc. And the scores that ways are fairer and that.
Okay. And there's a question regarding the TOEFL price. So student, the TOEFL test price is at 16,900. But if you'll take through Siksha, you will get an exclusive discount that will, help you. We'll provide you with the exclusive discount. So we'll get in touch with you to help you out with that process. I'll just check if there's any, important question that we need to answer. Otherwise, then we will wrap up. Just give me a few seconds. So students who have shared their question with their profile and which is very personalized, I'm not taking those questions here. We can share those questions further with the counseling team here who can help you out with the process and everything. So there's one question regarding Master of Public Policy again. So student has asked me multiple times regarding that what is the scholarship and grant and process to apply for Master in Public Policy program?
Is it for ANU?
So I think student has asked all the three universities here.
For us, the scholarship that we give is 25% across. That is the maximum that we give at this stage. That also is based on the merit. So merit-based scholarship, 25% will be the percentage.
For University of Sydney, we've got a Sydney International Student Award that covers 20% of the overall tuition cost. And in addition to that, students can apply and would automatically be considered for several other scholarships as well, which are totally based upon the merit. And in case the student qualifies, the highest that we go at a master's level would be 20,000 Australian dollars one-time scholarship. So a combination of both comes out to be somewhere near to 30 to 35% of the overall tuition cost being waived off for the students.
And for us, we start from 15%, but go up to 100%. So there are a whole range of scholarships available for students to apply.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think with this, we have come to the end of the session. If we've missed on some questions, students, do not worry. We'll get in touch with you to help you out with those questions. And for the profile specific questions, we'll forward this to our counselors who will be able to help you out with your specific questions. So I would like to thank everyone for joining us today and helping out. And thank you for sharing information about Australia and how Australia actually can help students, build their career and life. And for TOEFL, for ETS actually, that how English language test and how TOEFL can help students getting their, English language test done, plus preparations done, plus the visa acceptance. Of course, that is the important point for all the students. So thank you so much, everyone, and thank you to all the students who have joined us today. And we'll get in touch with you, help you out with your further queries. And that's it. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
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 Thank
Very
you.
much.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.